Well, Easter greetings, University City Church. I'm coming to you today from the outdoor chapel down below the Disciple Center. We had a glorious celebration of the resurrection. We saw that story, heard it read of Mary discovering Jesus when he called her by name. I want you to hear another story that evening. This comes after the disciples had been shut in a door, inside, afraid. But Thomas wasn't there. And so this story picks up when a week later, Thomas is with the disciples when Jesus appears. But Thomas, who was called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We've seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands, and put my finger in the mark of the nails and my hand in his side, I will not believe." You know, the beloved disciple, just earlier in that day, all he had to do was look inside the empty tomb. The linen cloths were there, and he believed. And then Mary believed when the supposed gardener calls her by name and she realizes it was Jesus. But Thomas needed more. You know what's beautiful is how Jesus knows what we need, and he comes to us and speaks to us and ministers to us just as we are. Well, he comes and he says to Thomas, "Peace be with you." Now look at me. Picking up in verse 26. A week later, his disciples were again in the house, and Thomas was with them. Although the doors were shut, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it in my side. Do not doubt, but believe." Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe." Here ends the reading of the word. So Thomas needed the data. He needed some visuals. He needed to touch the wounds of Jesus in order to believe. But Jesus accepts him, knows just what he needed, and loves him. What is it that you need today? To be alive in faith, to fully believe in the resurrection power for your life. Maybe there's an obstacle in the way of your experiencing of the risen Christ. Perhaps someone you haven't forgiven. Or maybe there's something that's happened in your past that haunts you. Perhaps you prayed and didn't get the result that you had asked for. Maybe there's something in the way. I want you to hear today. Jesus comes to Thomas and the disciples, comes to Mary, comes to the beloved disciple in different ways. He's coming to you today. He's calling you by name, and he's saying to you, "Peace be with you." God's blessings as we continue in this season of pandemic. We hope to see you again Sunday for worship when we'll be gathering outside in creation.